How's it going, card fighters? I'm Gleaming Garmore, and I'm a little late. Clan Collection, not to be confused with Clan Selection. I don't know why they mixed this up on us, because when Clan Selection came out, I was always calling it Clan Collection, and now Clan Collection is out, and I keep calling it Clan Selection. But Clan Collection 1 and 2 have finally gotten around to my turn. I haven't really been paying that much attention to the cards coming out for V Premium because I've been laser focused in on the standard format for Vanguard and learning how to play Infernoble in Yu-Gi-Oh! Infernoble is so much fun, you guys. I'll have a video on that some other time for the Yu-Gi-Oh! People. But it would appear that I've yet to talk about the brand new Gold Paladin Liberator support revealed in this set. There are 3 new cards for us to talk about. Fast Chase Liberator Josephus, Liberator of Royalty Fallon, and Bluish Flame Liberator Prominence Core. Now, all 3 of these cards are retrains of very classically, very much used Liberator cards from the Limit Break and Legion era. Josephus and Fallon coming from Limit Break, while Prominence Core used to be Gold Paladin's best Legion. Let's take it from the very bottom by talking about Josephus first. Josephus is a grade 1, 8,000 power, of course. When this unit is rode upon, you may look at the top card of your deck. If it is a unit, you may call it. Now, I do like that you do not have to call with Josephus's first skill. So if you look at it and it's a trigger unit, you can still leave it on top of the deck. This is I think it might be the first of its kind to be a Gold Paladin that only checks 1, but you can leave it there if you want. Or actually, there is one more. There's Hogan, but that's on hit of your Vanguard. This is on ride. This is guaranteed. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle from the deck, Soul Blast 1 to countercharge 1. Then, you can Soul Blast another one to draw 1 card. So this is sort of like a Din Drain, except you can pay both costs to do both, but you can't choose which one you want to do first. It also has the advantage over Din Drain of being an 8k power unit and having an on-Vanguard ability. So I do feel like Josephus overall replaces Din Drain because 9 times out of 10 you were using Din Drain to countercharge anyway. But you can still attempt to countercharge and then draw, paying 2 Soul Blasts for it if you are really, really desperate for cards at hand. We move on from Josephus to talk about Liberator of Royalty Fallon. Fallon has a continuous ability where during your turn, if your rearguard is placed from deck, this unit gets power plus 5,000. Unfortunately, they were not kind enough to us to make this ability an auto when your rearguard is placed. Otherwise, well, we'd have good old Bruno back now, wouldn't we? Auto, Vanguard, and Rearguard. When this unit's attack hits, you may look at the top card and you may call it. So much like Josephus, if you see a heal trigger on top of the deck and you want to leave that as a defensive for your opponent's turn, you're allowed to just leave the card there instead of committing to if you hit, you have to call. And this, you don't even have to counterblast like you would if you were playing, say, Eskrad. OG Eskrad, not new Eskrad. New Eskrad is still pretty cool. Unfortunately, new Eskrad still doesn't work with Liberators. So because of what they did with new Eskrad, they can't even make Liberator name a thing that is mentioned in card text. So instead, every Liberator card that we have in V Premium is just like a good stuff Gold Paladin card that does something to push the clan as a whole forward, which I kind of appreciate over the concept of subclans in general. Subclans are kind of, well, you see, subclans kind of restricted design space really heavily, and instead of making a bunch of new subclans, we see in Standard that they are making like, oh well, here's a playstyle, but it's close enough tangentially related to all the other playstyles in the nation that you can just sort of mix and match cards with your friends who also happen to play this nation. And I think that is a much better way to do it than the very subclan focused game that we got towards the end of Legion and all the way through G. I dare you to name just like a good stuff deck from G that didn't focus heavily on some kind of subclan or like a stride unit or a keyword. It was very difficult to build a deck that wasn't a part of some kind of subclan or keyword. You could also consider the keyword decks to be subclans in their own rights, but that's neither here nor there. Next up, we move on to the big guy himself, Bluish Flame Liberator, Prominence Core. Prominence Core, of course, having the Bluish Flame name, making him searchable off of Magnus in Premium. Act, Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 1, retire a rearguard, check top 4, choose 2 units and call them, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck. If you have Percival in your soul, you may call all 4 cards. And I think the best part of this card is that it's not exact. It's a cross-ride ability, but because of the way Gold Paladin works, you don't actually have to cross-ride to perform it. Instead, you can simply go Prominence Core, call Percival. Percival skill calls Aglavale, and then Aglavale puts Percival into the soul in the battle phase, and then on your next turn, you're already cross-rode up. You don't even have to use your ride phase on it. There's also the much sackier, much less likely scenario in which you call Percival off the top deck while you have an Aglavale on rearguard on turn 2. If you top deck a Percival with, say, Josephus' skill, and then you call Aglavale from your hand, then you can swing with that Aglavale, put the Percival into soul, and then on your turn 3, Prominence Core is live. And I don't think that will happen often, but it is enough of a possibility that it raises the ceiling of Gold Paladin immensely. Also, the fact that this is an act ability means that if your opponent is not smart playing against you in Premium, you can do this, and that triggers Unite so that you can then Spear X. Prominence Core does have one more ability. When your rearguard is placed until the end of the turn, this unit and that unit get +3. Then, if that unit is Oath Liberator Aglavale, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit's original critical becomes 2. So it's a really easy way to get into a double crit Vanguard. You see, I don't think this is necessarily better than playing Gurgit, but I also don't think it's worse. I think that Prominence Core, just looking at it in terms of this is a card that you can call a full board off of in the main phase that can become a double crit monster. And also the fact that you're returning that Aglavale to your hand, right? So if you do not guard with that Aglavale, you can continuously keep calling Aglavale down and returning it to hand, and every turn the game goes on, you have 2 crit. It's essentially, this is like where Gurgit has power and multi-attack. You have consistent attacks that are decently large and have an extra base crit. So it's really a question between whether you play this or you play Gurgit. It's a question of whether you want the large numbers or the centralized critical. Essentially, you're asking your opponent, hey, do you want to let this one go through, or do you want to let like this attack go through and hope for defensive with Gurgit, or do you want to just not worry about my rear guards, but you are going to have to drop cards on my van or you are going to have a problem? I really, really like this card, honestly. I'm really glad that that Clan Collection, I said the right one this time, didn't I? Clan Collection, not Clan Selection. Clan Collection is giving us such good cards to work with, and I hope that everybody else who is, you know, one of us clan main weirdos is enjoying themselves and what they're getting from this set. I've heard some very good things from Mr. Time Leap. He's having a blast with the Gear Chronicle cards, and I can only hope to join him in being just as elated over these new Gold Paladins. I think my favorite of the bunch is Josephus, just because this one is very clearly a card that you can slot into any existing Gold Paladin build, because you're already playing Dindrain, and this is just sort of Dindrain with 8k and an on-ride. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I've been Gleaming Garmor, and I'll see you guys some other time. Hey, so this is the part where I say some stuff in the end card. First of all, only 7% of you are subscribed. The number actually went down, and I don't know if that's because I've got an influx of viewers who didn't subscribe. Maybe it's because I made a Yu-Gi-Oh video recently. I don't know. But there's also the fact that I now have both a coffee page. I've had a coffee page for a while. I've been linking it in videos for a while, but I haven't actually mentioned it in a video. And I think it's time that I actually bothered to bring it up, where you can make one-off donations for very little amounts of money. And I also have a Patreon where you can gain access to an exclusive Gleaming Garmor Patreon Discord server. Oh, and while I'm here, why don't you tell me your favorite clan and if you like what they got from clan selection or not in the comments? I'd appreciate it. I love reading people's thoughts.